Afternoon, everyone. This is another Abel Marketing Facebook Live with Susie Taylor on Monday, November 25th, 2024. I almost said 2022. I have absolutely no idea why. And I was almost going to say something because I knew U.S. Thanksgiving was this Thursday, that I bet you're getting tired of hearing about Black Friday.
Oh man. We've been hearing about Black Friday for it seems like all month. All month. There is no Black Friday anymore. It's Black Month,
That's what someone
whatever.
said to me the other day, actually, and I laughed at that. But let's just kick it off because you were here last month and we were talking about your company. I actually want to try and find Sticks and Stones as well, the Facebook group, if I can find it. But I came to your November 15th workshop, and I have it written down here as I look through my notes. And you talked a little bit about Donald Miller's Building a Story brand, which I'd like to read about. But from confusion to clarity, the workshop, I think it really resonated with me because of what I do. But why don't you tell people who follow Able Marketing, and I'll post this in Sticks and Stones, what from confusion to clarity was about?
Well, it was basically talking about how you identify your ideal client and then figuring out how to talk to them. So a lot of times we feel like, oh, my product or service is for everyone. And if you try to communicate with everyone, you're basically going to talk to nobody because your
Right,
message doesn't resonate with anyone. And
right.
so the confusion part is, who am I talking to? And the clarity is, what is my message? What do I say to them that makes a difference?
And I think we talked about this before too, Susie, right? Because this is one of those things that, how easy is it for you to do it? I'm going to pull up some of my notes from our last interview. How easy is it for you to do it for other businesses versus trying to do it for your own business?
Oh
Because that's
my
one of
God.
the things that fascinates me, and one of the things I've learned about marketing and trying to
Oh yeah.
build my own company, right?
Yeah.
So from confusion to clarity, to me, could have a couple things. It could have what you do for your clients, but I almost wonder if sometimes if there's a marketing course, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I guess that's why everybody has a coach, right? From confusion to clarity applies to um, also applies to trying to build your own company,
hmm
right?
Well, it goes back to, I'm living this business, my business, but
Right,
I'm not living your business.
right,
And so I can look at your business or somebody else's business with a different light, with
right,
new eyes, because I'm not living it. And and a lot of times we get caught up into talking in our lingo, and it's hard. It's just difficult um, to realize that the words that I'm using may not really resonate with the people I'm trying to talk to. So
right.
so that's where the confusion comes. I'm living my business. I just need someone on the outside to look in and say, this is what I see.
Right. Right. And so I actually thought about taking you up on your offer, and I'll try and share it because I thought maybe I should book a call with you and get clarity for my own business. Because I think oftentimes when we run a business like this and we're thinking, oh, yeah, we're copywriters, we're content creators, we're marketers,
Mm-hmm.
we do what we do, right? And we don't realize that sometimes we need it more than the clients that we help.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a really powerful for me. And what you did, I hope you don't mind if I share a little bit about the workshop, while still
Um,
not giving away too much of the secret sauce so people will book with you. Um, I really like this comment that you made. And I'll share the Donald Miller's Building a Story brand link as well. You said that people don't want to be sold to, people don't buy for logical reasons, and then they look to use logic to justify the purchase that they made
right,
with
right.
someone like a business, right?
Um, I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, today I went out and bought knitting needles.
Okay.
Not because I needed knitting needles, but because I want to work on a project and I can't find the right size of knitting needles, and I want to work on it tonight. I don't want to work on it tomorrow or in 3 days when I have a chance to look for them. So my it for me to drive out to the day is get to start working on the logic would say, no, just wait. You're wasting time. But the emotion is, I don't want to wait. I don't want to do that. I want to go on. And then I can tell my husband when he gets home, well, now I can work on it. I can work on it now. And you listened to me all last night complain because I didn't have the right size knitting needles. Now you don't have to listen to me anymore. It's the same concept, And we talk about the features of our products and our services until we're blue in the face because we know what those mean. Our customers really don't care about the features. They just want to know how it benefits them. Before we got on, I said something about how I don't really care how big this engine in this truck is. I just want to know it's going to pull my family's camper up the mountain. That's it.
Right. So let's move then as I pull up your Sticks and Stones Facebook group. So thanks for welcoming me to the Facebook group. I appreciate that.
I'm glad that you joined.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm always like feeling like, not that somebody, like I owe somebody something, but I think it's good to trade and have two ways of support, right? Me supporting you, you supporting me, trying to grow both businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Because it's a really valuable thing to see what others are doing. And the way you and I align so well is because this is the way I think about marketing, the way you sort of taught us from confusion to clarity, right? And it's just like, once you have clarity in your marketing efforts and the things you do, it seems like everything else just falls into place, right? Like everything else is just, it's just simple, right? There's no struggle. Even if there are challenges, you're like, well, I've got my eyes clearly on the prize, and my thoughts clearly are this. So tell me a little bit then about the Donald Miller building a story brand, because how does that tie in?
Well, Building a Story Brand is a book that was written by Donald Miller, released in 2017. Actually, the second edition is going to be released on January 7th, 2025. And it will include everything that's in the current book, along with more information about how you use a story brand guide and more information about artificial intelligence and how to use that. But it's loosely based on the story structure of the hero's journey, which basically says there's a character who has a problem, who meets a guide, who gives them a plan, calls them to action, and leads them to success. And so the way that works in marketing is our businesses are not the hero of our customer story.
Right. You've talked about that before. So, I know you and I have discussed that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I kind of started thinking about this in a different way, in that my life, I live my life. I'm the star of my story. I don't want somebody else to come in and become the hero of it. Now, sure, I'd like some supporting characters who can come and show me how to go and show me where to go. And how to solve problems, but I don't want somebody else to come in and be the hero of my story. And that's the same way that we look at our businesses. That we need to know our customers' problems, and that's where the clarity comes from. If we know who we're talking to and what their problem is, we know the message. We know how to tell them that we can guide them to a solution. And that's where the clarity comes, is knowing your customer, knowing what they want, and knowing what their problems are.
I was going to ask you too, because I have to read the book, and it's just like, it's another book on your list when you're a business owner and you've got a million books being thrown at you. Susie says, read this book. Your business coach says, read this book. Your accountant says, read this book. is it like there's almost too much knowledge now? It seems like it, right? Not that it's bad,
Well,
but it's like where to like which like what do I start with clarity
it's
wise?
it's like a fire
Right?
hose, isn't it? There's just so
Yeah, it
much
is.
information coming at us from all different directions. You kind of have to pick and choose. What am I going to follow? What uh way am I going to go?
Yeah.
And there are so many different marketing methods, so many different ways
Yeah.
to present your business. And for me, the story brand system just made sense. It may not make sense for somebody else.
Fair enough.
They
Yeah.
may look at things totally differently, but but for me, it makes sense. It leads me along a path and shows me exactly how to lead my clients.
Hmm.
But that's
Yeah, the whole concept of the hero, right? I think too often these days with social media marketing and posting and I do it too on my LinkedIn trying to sell myself and sell my services. It's always about I don't know, these days like we've said it seems like it's almost not like facts what's being posted. It's like just these declarations like look at me. And I guess for me sometimes for myself, I'm looking at it thinking maybe because of my background or training or the business I'm in, you're going to have to prove it to me. Right? Like, yes, I know that
yeah,
if I buy from you, like I have to do the work, but I have to sort of see that you've got some credibility behind you, some experience behind you, and it's not just there's a message and follow it and that's it.
right, right. And it's the whole know, like, and trust factor. In
Right.
Story Brand, we call it curiosity, enlightenment, and commitment. So you want people to get curious about the services that you offer, the products that you offer. And
Right.
then what you do is you enlighten them and let them know what it is that you do and how you serve them. And then once they get that and understand how you can guide them to a solution, then they decide to make a commitment to you, whether
Right.
that's with time or money. Um, and it's the same thing as know, like, and trust. Uh, I'm not going to spend money with you until I know you and like you and trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And that's kind
Right.
of, I mean, you mentioned Sticks and Stones, the Facebook group. That's kind of what that's all about is, there are times when we just don't want to. I mean, there are many times when I just don't really want to face the day, but I still have to. I still have to. So I want I still have to get up and feed the cats and feed the dogs and let them out and do my thing. And if I could sit in my bed all day, that would be wonderful. But that doesn't do anybody any good whatsoever. So if I can find a
Right.
message that will help somebody get up and get moving, um, and it just goes back to the kind of person I am. I don't know if you've heard of brand archetypes. I was working with a friend of mine and we were going through personal brand archetypes,
No,
and
I haven't.
and I answered all of her questions, and she goes, "Well, your major type is that of a nurturer." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's surprising." Not. I mean, I've got 3 kids, one in heaven, 2 on earth.
Right. You mentioned those.
30 some odd years I've spent at taking care of kids, my kids. Uh,
Yeah.
of course, that's who I am, a nurturer. And so
Right.
that's how I deal with my clients the same way. Um, there are going to be some clients who will resonate with that and some who won't. And the ones who won't aren't my ideal client.
Do you think the thing with brand archetypes too, though, like even if you're a nurturer, because I try to be a nurturer, but sometimes my wife says with our daughter, like I'm a hard ass. But when I'm a hard ass, I know it's because of the way I learn sometimes, but it's also sometimes a little tough love is required at the right moments to help sort of get you to that next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had someone contact me once and she wanted me to look at her website and to give her some feedback. And so I did
Right.
that, and her answer was, "But my clients like it like that." Oh, okay. Well, then here's another suggestion. But my clients like it like that. And at that point I
Right.
was like, "Okay, um, this is not a relationship I don't think is going to work very well, because you have your ideas of what you think is right. I have my ideas of the way that I think you should go about it.
Right.
And they're not meshing. So good luck to you, and let me know if I can help with anything. And that's that hard love. That's that tough love. You've got to, I'll do what I can, but if you don't want to at least see the benefit or see how something different might benefit you, then I'm my way of working isn't for you then. And
Well,
it
it's
would just
almost,
be
yeah,
very confusing.
it's almost like something I saw, and I think it was about learning and retention. And those who know me know I do a sports podcast that I've done because I love sports, but also because I like doing content creation. And one of the sports that I cover in my podcast is a lacrosse team based in Vancouver called the Vancouver Warriors. And they have a coach. His name is Kurt Molosky. And Kurt talked about something to do with something called coachability, right? And coachability was about retention, but it was also about the ability to teach someone and also to have them
Mhm.
retain it. And I think that's what I came to realize when you mentioned that. Clients hire you for your expertise. And we're not saying that we always have this negative, cynical view of clients, because we don't. But you're paying me money and you hired me to help you. So if you
Mhm.
don't want my help, why are you here?
Right, right.
Right? That's tough love, right?
Um,
I mean,
yeah, and
you know,
it boils down to the EEAT. I heard Neil Patel talk about EEAT: experience, expertise, authority, and trust. If you're going to hire me for my experience and my expertise, then um, you've got to believe that I have that credibility, and then trust me that I I know a little bit about what I'm talking about here. And it's the same way of how I deal with my business coach. She's spent 18 months trying to smack it into my head that I've got to do different things, and it's just in the last 6 months that I've realized that you're right. Yes, you're right. I need to do those. I need to do those things. So
can you share who your business coach is so that we know?
I work with a couple of women. One is Jean Kuhn in Chicago, but probably the
Okay.
one who you may know the best is Sean Behrman with World Referral Network. And
Okay.
Sean has really shown me a lot of what it means to work with people all around the world, and how to do things so that it's not hard, and I can do something once and then replicate it over and over and over again. And she's really taught me a lot about myself, my personality, that self-talk, my mindset, all that stuff that goes into being a business owner that you don't think matters. But you've got to believe in yourself before somebody else is going to believe that you know how to help them. And that's
Yeah,
the biggest
I thought it might be Sean, but I was not sure. And so that's why I asked you to confirm it, because I think you and I had discussed it. So I think we're going to wrap up the live here. But before we do, let's do a couple things. Like we can share something about Sean and share that because of the World Referral Network, you and I met. And then that led us to doing a couple Facebook Lives and kind of figuring out, like, how we work and could we work together and all that kind of stuff. So I want to thank you again for doing this, because there's so much value in this 20-minute conversation, and I'll share it through some of the World Referral Network stuff. And I'm actually trying to get my computer to let me share the World Referral Network uh, website, because for those that don't know about what the World Referral Network is, it's a it's a world, I don't want to say world network of referrals, but um, it's a lot more than that. And so I am in a
Mhm.
World Referral Network Wednesday morning breakfast meeting where I live in North Vancouver. I go Wednesday mornings at 7 to a local restaurant, a White Spot, and sort of like talking business, trading things around, talking about topical stuff, talking about things like AI, talking about how people are doing business, varying things around that, right? So we actually met, but it's sort of like I think you and I both realized that there's opportunity for us to work together, and not only just that, but to
Mhm.
also promote the World Referral Network, because we've seen through our own efforts, um, what it's given us in terms of building a network and finding contacts and learning from other professionals, and it's
Right.
all on the up and
Right.
up, right? And it's all very positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was actually started by some folks in Vancouver. And so
Right.
I probably
It
know
was.
more people in British Columbia now than I did a year ago, and probably ever would have imagined that I would have known in British Columbia, but it's wonderful. It's amazing. I've got friends that I can actually call on the phone, and people who I never would have met if it weren't for the World Referral Network. And I'm just very, very grateful that I was introduced to it and I'm a part of it. So yeah. And I love
All right.
meeting other people like you who do the same thing that I do, but we do it all differently. And there's enough work out there for everybody. And yeah, there's abundance and out there for anyone who does marketing. We can all learn from each other. It's a great thing.
All right. Thanks, Susie. Let's wrap it up there. We'll talk to everyone soon. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.